Hello everybody, my name is Jason and this is my Techno-Biography of my life. So in this PowerPoint, you'll basically see the evolution of different technologies that I've used growing up, and it's kind of unique to go over this history just because I was in the age of the evolution of technology, and it's just so interesting to see the different evolutions of technology in general and how, like, even now, like, as an adult and probably even after I record this, just seeing the progression and the evolution of technology will still continue and continue and continue and continue to the day that I die, essentially. So it's just very cool to see how it's evolving, and to be in the educational world to see it happen is just really incredible to see. So one of my first technology devices that I've used before is a VHS television. Now, I was raised in the era where, like, it was like towards the end of the VHS, like, physical tape, and I was then starting to enter into the DVD era. Like, that's what they were starting to enter into, so I was raised, like, at the end of that. But growing up, I would love to watch Barney, and when I was a kid, my parents used to tell me that I would, like, they would put that on for me whenever I go to sleep, or whatever the case may be, because it helps me sleep. But then what would happen is that in the middle of the night, then I would wake up, go to the tape, I think it was like you either insert it or you just hit the rewind button and you have to rewind the tape and then you hit play, essentially. That's what I kept doing every single night, and that would just help me sleep. And that's just one of the things that I remember, but this was like one of the first TVs I think I had in my bedroom. And, like, now, like, it's kind of funny looking at it that I actually have a normal, like, flat screen TV in my bedroom now, which is kind of crazy to think that it's changed over the years. So this is, like, my first video games that I've actually had. So this is, like, a Fisher-Price sports bike. I remember when I got it when I was, like, I think it was, like, 3 or 4. But I put on here 3, which I'm assuming it was 3. But I remember that it was which I didn't know this until I re-looked it up because it just popped up in my head when I was doing this project. But I remember this bike is an educational actual tool, and I remember it was like a game you did ABCs or 1, 2, 3, or like counting. And essentially you would have 2 modes, the ABC and the 1, 2, 3, and you'll do activities. Like, I forget what activities you did with it because it was such a long time ago, and I vividly remember this. But I remember you took, like, the cords down there and you hook it up to your TV, and it's like you have to bike and you have to shoot some things and, like, whatever's on the TV, essentially. And I didn't know this was educational until probably growing up. But it was really fun, and it really actually was enjoyable because not only you're learning, but you're doing exercise at the same time, which I wish they had stuff like this nowadays, which I don't think they really do. I think they discontinued this, but this would be really nice to have. But this is the Nintendo DS Lite. This is my first ever video game console that I got when I was in the 1st grade. And I remember my dad bought this for me and my sister. We each got our own, and he bought it from Toys R Us. And I remember the first games that I got was like this Lego Indiana Jones game, this Kung Fu Panda, like, something like an action game or something, and then like this SpongeBob fighting game. And I played those 3 games until, like, because it took cartridges and you had to insert it and whatnot. I played those till the cartridges broke and I couldn't play it anymore. But I really enjoyed playing this, and, like, even growing up and still playing it, even with my 3DS, it was really nice to have, and I really enjoyed playing this. And I wish I never got rid of this, but unfortunately you grow up, you gotta get rid of some things. So this is my next one. This is the Nintendo Wii, and my dad owned a restaurant up the street in Towson, and he got a Nintendo Wii from his restaurant, and nobody really wanted to play it at his restaurant or whatever, and or either, like, he wanted to take it home because it was brand new and it was very popular at the time. And I remember the first game that I got for it was Wii Sports, and I really enjoyed that game, and I still played it until, like, last year. But it was really fun because it's an exercise game and encourage kids to, like, actually exercise and, like, actually go outside and have fun. And it was a nice family, like, built activity that I thought was really fun. And a lot of people still enjoy this game till this day. But I also remember not only that game, but I remember playing Mario Kart Wii, where trying to get all the 3 stars in the Grand Prix. And I remember playing like different games. I remember there was this shooter game I didn't really like until I got older. But there was like a whole bunch of different games I remember playing on this that I still have fond memories of. And even though it was such a long time ago, this console still lives to this day. So, all right. So this picture right here, this is not really an accurate photo of what I actually did, like used in elementary school, but we're going to go with it today. So this is like an old desktop computer. And this is what I basically used like in the computer lab when I was in elementary school. And this computer basically taught me how to actually use an actual laptop or a computer. And I remember just sitting in the chair in the computer lab, and you'll have the box either to your left or your right, because it was in those very big like computer boxes. I don't know what they're called, but they were like computer boxes. And I remember just kicking them by accident, or like banging them or whatever, because they're so close and so big to your feet that you couldn't really avoid it unless you kept your legs like really still, really stiff, and not like swinging as much. But I really enjoyed it. It taught me how to type. It like taught me how to do different things online, such as find images and whatnot. But it really taught me how to use an actual computer. And really the teachers did too, but I also remember these computers were so evolving over the years. Like I now know nowadays, like the boxes are now really small and they're tucked behind the computer screen, and it's so nice. And I still use I kind of still use them, but I haven't really used them since high school, like those computers with the small like boxes in the back of them. But it was really nice. And I remember the keyboards sounded like when you typed, it sounded like you were in a library or something. You had to be like really quiet when you used it. So, but yeah, that's how I remember about this. So this is a Nintendo 3DS. I actually still have this. But this is my second handheld video game console that I got after my Nintendo DS. So I remember, I think it was one of my birthdays, I got Mario Kart 7. And I was trying to it still took cartridges. And I was trying to insert it into my DS, and it couldn't fit. And then we found out, hey, it actually goes to a different console. So I ended up having to use my check that I got from my granddad. It was like a $100 check, and I got it. And it was really cool at the time because on the side right here, I don't know if you can see it on here, but there's like this 3D effect that it had. It was like the slide bar. And I remember when I first played it, I remember putting it all the way, and it would make the screen 3D and whatnot, which was really cool for its time. It did have like the phone buttons, like when you had a cell phone, like the home, select, the start. It had those buttons. And the cool part about this too is that it had a camera, which I've never had a camera before. So I was like very excited about this. But I really still enjoy this game. I mean, this console till this day. So we're going to say this is a Chromebook, which it is. And the photo does show it's a Chromebook. But what I'm basically describing now is I used Chromebooks, I think, when I started 6th grade. But when I was in like the 5th grade, we would use these mini HP laptops. They're kind of similar to like a Chromebook. But I remember it was really cool because it looked like a smart like tablet, but it was a computer. And it had like a touch screen and everything. And it was really cool for its time. And then we got into Chromebooks. And Chromebooks, I still use them to this day because it's funny how the educational world actually uses these still. And that's how I still use them. But I really liked them just because it was like mini and it just looked like a computer, but it looked like a tablet at the same time. Like it was so cool and revolutionary, and also had a camera and whatnot. But it was really cool, and I remember using it and just like an actual laptop and just learning how to use it. So this is a Nintendo Wii U. I got this one year for Christmas because it was a Mario Kart on it that I wanted, and it wasn't on the Wii. So I was like, I want this, and my parents got it for me for Christmas. But I remember I got Mario Kart 8, which was the game, and then I got Lego Dimensions, and it's like this cool little plug-in like tab. I still have the tablet, but it was like this little slab you put down, and you have these characters, you put them on, and it like has a cord, it connects to the console, and it comes with a game. but then like it, like whatever character you tap, it appears on the screen, and they have like cool features and whatnot. But I remember playing this, and it was really cool because you're able to essentially just take, or like, I should say, like you're able to watch TV and play games at the same time, which I thought was really cool, and I have really fond memories about this console. This is my first ever computer. I remember this was a hand-me-down from my grandfather. It did not have a webcam. It did not have like a touchscreen or anything. It was like this really old '03 hand-me-down camera. I mean, this computer. But it was really cool to use at the time. And I didn't really need it in the 6th grade, but when I was in the 7th grade and 8th grade and so forth, I really needed it. And all I did on it was just like research and whatnot. But it really taught me how to research and really taught me like actually how to use a laptop. This is my first ever phone, and sorry I'm running by this really quick, but there's nothing really for to say. I mean, this is my first ever phone. It had like buttons on it. It didn't have facial recognition or like fingerprint that you usually get. It wasn't like fancy like nowadays phones are, but it was really cool at the time, and I did end up screwing it up. But it was a nice phone, and I was really excited to get one, and went to go tell my friends, oh, hey, I got a phone number. So, this is the next phone I got. Really short and simple. Not that much changes. It still had those buttons. It still had, like, camera. It had an interface camera, which was really cool. But, again, just really nice. And I liked how it had a little port that was covered up so to help protect from the water and whatnot, which I thought was really cool at the time and revolutionary. So this is my next phone. This phone I ended up having to get 2 versions of, because the first one day I was on it and it overheated, and when I went to go charge it, it like you couldn't see anything on the screen, but you could still use it. And then the second version that I got, I was working one night and the camera lens like smashed somehow. I don't know how, but it smashed, and I ended up not having a working camera. Even though you could see pictures, it was like very glossy and whatnot, but it was really cool. It still had the buttons here. It still had the buttons and whatnot, but it was a really cool phone to have. So this is my previous laptop. It was really cool because it had a touchscreen, and I thought it was fancy. And it had a camera, which I've never had a camera on a laptop before, so I was very excited about it. And it was just really nice, and also it was the last computer that I had that had a DVD drive in it. Like my new one that I'm on right now doesn't have that. So I was just really bummed about that, but it was really nice, and it lasted me a good 5 years. So this is my previous phone. Sorry, the image is a little blurry, but this is the Samsung Galaxy A32. You can still get this at the store, and it was really cool because this is the first phone that I had that took the USB-C cord, and it had a fingerprint and a face recognition, which I thought was really cool. And it had many features and whatnot that I just never really explored, but it was really nice. And I remember getting this phone when I graduated high school, which I thought was awesome to get a free phone when you graduate. So I thought it was really nice. So this is the Nintendo Switch. I still have this. I remember I bought this one day after I got off work, and I saved all my money from Christmas, and I essentially bought it. And then I remember I couldn't get the game at the store because I was short on funds, so I essentially had to go to the bank the next day and get funds to get the game so I can come back and get it. But it was really nice, and I really love to use it to kill some time on it, and I really like how it's hybrid, so you could take it anywhere in the world, and you can plug it up to your TV and do all that fancy stuff. So this is the computer I'm currently on. I'm still discovering how to use this computer, but I just got it last Christmas, as is recorded in 2023. It has a touch screen and everything, and I really like it, this computer, but I don't have much to say because I'm still using this, and I'm still discovering how to use it. And this actually leads into my next one, which is my new phone. I don't know how to use this quite yet. I'm still discovering how to use it, but it doesn't have a plug to put in your wired headphones, which I think is weird, but we live in a world where it's cordless. So yeah, and that's it. Thanks for listening.